insights. The Deputy Director Export at the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) is Sonwolu Oluwase, and we cannot wait for everything you have to share with us. A number of people have asked me if you're related to Mr. Governor, and I told them just ask her when she gets here. So,
what enables us to regulate an agency? The agency is enabled by the 15 of 1993, now NAFDAC Cap N1, Law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 2004, mandates and empowers the agency to regulate and control the importation, exportation, which is called business, manufacture, advertisement, distribution, sale, and use of food, drugs, and other products mentioned here, which we call NAFDAC regulated products. Now, NAFDAC regulated products for export. The agency regulates and controls the exportation of the product covered by its enabling laws at the ports and land borders, and also the airports, the seaports and land borders. And these include food, both processed and semi-processed, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, household items, products, medical devices, chemicals, agrochemicals, etc. So what are those processed and semi-processed food we're talking about? We're talking about, this applies to any food that has been altered from its natural state in some way, either for safety reasons or for convenience. Most of these products are registered by the agency. Examples are drinks, milk, registered foods, alcohol and non-alcoholic drinks, etc. And we look at semi-processed foods. Semi-processed products are intermediate products or semi-finished products not destined for the end consumer, but requires further incorporation into finished product. Examples such as sesame seed, hibiscus flour, shea butter, ginger, vegetables, egusi, melon, ogbono, and what have you. Now, what are the challenges of exportations that we face as regards these regulated products? The first one here is non-adherence to the standardized clearance procedure by stakeholders, freight forwarders, cargo handlers, airliners, carriers, regulatory agencies, to mention a few. Why are these products we're talking about, why are they rejected? Poor product quality due to non-adherence to good practices such as good agricultural practices, good hygiene practice, good manufacturing practice, good storage practices, and good distribution practices. Inadequate information on the requirements from country of trade. Poor packaging and labeling of products. And of course, exportation without recourse to NAFDAC processes and procedures, and exportation without requisite documents. Now, next level. Building quality into agri products. Good agricultural practice, GAP. These are a collection of principles to apply for on-farm production and post-production processes, resulting in safe and healthy food while taking into account economic, social, and environmental sustainability. They are those things we do in the field during the transportation of the product to the consumer that prevent the contamination, which can be microbiological, can be chemical, or physical. GAP involves every step of farming, ranging from choosing the right plot for your agricultural practice, quality of water, choosing the best irrigation system, designing the farm, proper handling and application of pesticides, farm maintenance, storage, and workers' education and their health, and as well as the safety. Threats of crop exports. The demand for diverse food by different countries due to the emergence of global safe food markets has increased, resulting in an increase in the export of food from one country to the other. However, it has posed a major threat to public health through the spread of pathogens and the presence of other contaminants in the food chain, which has resulted in restrictions being imposed on the export of food by various countries. Some of the food-related threats, next slide please. Some of the food-related threats to the export of crops include chemical residues. These are traces of chemicals present in any agricultural produce above the maximum residue limits. It occurs, why does it occur? It occurs due to direct treatment of product with pesticide, which shouldn't be. Wrong applications of pesticide. Is the pesticide supposed to be applied to the roots of the plant or the leaf, and we are not applying that properly? Non-adherence to withholding period, which is usually indicated on the label.
Dr. Esra Yabusa. Thank you very much, Madam Lambert. She has been able to really expose the problems that are affecting the non-oil export sector. So what we need to talk about now is the solution. How do we mitigate these problems? She has talked about the issue concerning certification, quality, standard specification, issues of logistics, even packaging. So those are the issues that we are going to find answers to this evening. My paper is in three areas. The first thing I will talk about the export performance, for 2022 and the first half of this year. We also look at what the council is doing, to promote and facilitate exports. Not talk about the various opportunities we can take, in the export sector. Now, the council has 4 cardinal objectives. 1, to promote exports, to develop, to incentivize, and to assist export in the third. And our vision is to spearhead the diversification of the Nigerian economy by expanding and increasing non-oil exports for sustainable and inclusive economic growth. I will not talk much about the introduction because we are all conversant with the problems that over-reliance on oil has caused the country. Whenever there is a change in the price of oil, the export sector will be shivering. So whenever there is a break in the price of oil, so I won't talk much about that. But the essence is that there is need for us, as a nation, to diversify, from oil to non-oil exports. And the reason is quite apparent in terms of job creation, in terms of youth empowerment, human empowerment, and getting the most desired foreign exchange that we need. Now, somebody was talking about 850 naira now, the cost of converting naira to dollar. Trying to release about 1,000, go for it. Now, export performance for 2022. For 2022, we had $4.8 billion, and that is the first time we have attained that particular figure since the 47 years of establishing the council. That is the highest we were able to attain as a nation. And 240 products were exported by 1,172 companies and to 122 export destination countries. And also, urea and fertilizer, is the lead, the highest exporter, products. And the reason is because of the war in Russia and Ukraine. So you have to look, inward into Africa for us to get urea and fertilizer. And Brazil is the highest importer with 12.27%. And 31 EU banks that possess NSP, non-oil export proceeds funds, with 19 exit points. Lagos as the highest. Next slide, please. And for the very first time, semi and manufactured products had the lead by having 39.61% against agricultural produce. That's the first time 2022 in the history of Nigeria. The essence of this is to have a bonded warehouse. We have first, goods produced can be aggregated. The various inspection agencies, regulatory agencies will be stationed there for them to look at the products and get it certified, look at the quality, look at the packages. Now, and once those goods are loaded into containers there, they are sealed, it's just straight to the ship. And this particular initiative is also brought about to mitigate the issue of gridlock, at the ports. Because we have some terrible experiences. For example, one of our exporters one time, cocoa products in the process of exporting cocoa butter, the whole container load, 20 feet, of cocoa butter got melted between Oshodi and Apapa. So those are the problems, some of the problems that we have in terms of logistics, And when I was a Macaulay artisanal controller, we did a kind of a survey to determine the competitiveness of Nigerian agricultural produce. And we discovered that the cost of transportation alone is about 23% of the total cost of the products. 23%. So how are you going to break even? Because in selling the export markets, the products will not be competitive. Apart from that, it has been competitive because you are competing with other exporters across the world. So the domestic export warehouse is to mitigate some of the issues that have to do with logistic issues, the issues of packaging, the issue of certification, the issue of product standards and various requirements. And then we were talking the other time about inability to trace some of the companies that have issues as a sort of trade alerts. Yes, it's not only you. When we get trade alerts from NAFDAC, we also go on feed to look for such exporters. For what? For us to look at how to, not for missionary measures, but how to look at the issues, and regulate and put their capacity on how to do about it. But in most cases, we are always unable to change the addresses of those exporters. And that is why, as a council now, once you are registered with us, we do what we call verification. We go to your addresses or locations to actually know what you are doing, to know, because you have to want to put face to what you are doing as an exporter, want to put an identity to your company. Another thing we have done is what we call the export trade houses. And this is to give visibility to the Nigerian products outside the country. For now, we'll be able to open 5. We open one in Sadat City in Egypt to take care of North Africa, one in China, a lot of sesame and ginger containers, thousands of containers are being shipped to the trade house in China. We have another one in Nairobi, in Kenya. We have one in Lometogo in partnership with Man Export Group. We also have one in Dubai. So we have those trade houses in Dubai, and this is for exporters with good products to move those products there. With samples, was to move their samples there. From there, interested people that in Nigerian products, they can see and make orders there for those things to be shipped to them. Yeah, another thing we do is our various marketing program as a strategy for sourcing for markets. In most times, the council spearhead Nigerians' exporters' participation in trade fairs, trade exhibition, B2B meetings, market orientation missions, and things like that. So those are various avenues with which we get markets for Nigerian exporters. And in most cases, when exporters come to the office and they see the products and they want markets, I think your problem is not markets. It's not market, because sometimes you have to determine your level of readiness for the market. That's a checklist. It's not market, because once you are doing that market, you go and mess up the market when you are not really prepared. And And in the international market, there's what we call utmost good faith. You must be transparent. So people will not be able to even do a container. They say they can do 10 containers. You try to make claims that are not verifiable. So when they come to the office, I take them through the generic standards. They prepare their readiness model for them to know if they are ready for the market or not. Yeah, capacity building programs, all those things that Dr. talk about, all over our 34 states, those are the things we do. We do capacity buildings on the issue of post-harvest use, the issue of cultivation, pest control, all those things we train. We'll be able to get the Abuja, we bring youth together, because another thing we do as a council is that whatever we do must be key to SDG goals. Youth empowerment, job creation, revitalization. So we do talent launch, and 3 of the Nigerians have been able to be sent with a football club outside the country. And you know what that means? Those guys, they are the richest now, footballers. And there's a possibility that given to the council. When you go inside, you start making your dollars, about 10% is for the council. So that's another way of generating revenue. So AFCFT is coming through. We have potential to key to the market and dominate that particular market. We also have trade agreements, AGUA, AFCFTA, DCTS for us to rely on to penetrate. Export awareness, like I said in the green grants. Thank you for listening.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Simon Udoko from Kachi Company Limited, representing my CEO, Mrs. Kate Issa, who is unavailable absence due to other engagements. What's the state of Nigerian agro produce in Africa, the opportunities? No, the first slide. We said Africa is the second largest continent in the world, which is true. Now, and every one of us must eat. That young girl there must grow, and our other girls must grow. And how do they grow? They will go through the produce that we produce in the country. Next slide. African current population is about 1.2 billion estimated, and we've been projected to grow to about 1.7. That's about 7 years from now, because of the exponential increase in our population, childbirth and all that. Now, for every of these, newborn, new births, including the existing ones, must eat. And what we need to eat must be healthy. Now, it is projected that by 2060, Africa will consume 50% of the global workforce, and which is true. Substantial number of that global workforce will be the youth. And until we channel the energy of the youth, in a very positive form, allowing them to go into farming, allowing them into so many things, because you agree with me that agriculture has also moved from just the normal tilling of using your hoes, your cutlass, into technology. I was in Kenya recently, and also in the UK recently, and I saw where people are now using drones to drop fertilizer in farms. We are still using hands, right? We are still using hands. Technology has improved to the level where people now use drones. The young population of Africa and Nigeria is our greatest asset. The reality of ground is that Africa has the youngest population of young people. If you go to Europe and America, because of their ways of life, they have less young people. So we have a better advantage than them, and we must take that full advantage so that we can have that security.
Yes, the NIQS actually, as a government agency, set up for a specific purpose. We are into the certification and clearance for agro products, both for import and export. What are we out for? We want to be sure that whatever is imported or exported, as far as it's an agricultural product, is free from pests and diseases. We are more concerned with the pests and diseases in these products. We might not be in the packaging section. Very important, you need to package right. But if you have done all the good packaging and you have pests in those consignments, you are still liable to lose them, because Nigeria have entered into pacts with international organizations for the purpose of control of pest spread and establishment in the various countries. Pests of fruits and vegetables, there are a number of them. I can't list them all, but if you go check those things, there are things you can see with your naked eyes. That's something we should understand. Yes, highs and lows. Some of the things NAQS has been involved in recent times is training of farmers, exporters, clearing agents, and by extension the handlers. We need to get them to understand why we are doing what we are doing. Sometimes when we try to cut corners, I think it's more of an ignorance problem. We don't know the risk involved. When you pick your agricultural produce, to you there's nothing wrong with this. It's looking fine. The vegetable is looking green. For you, it's fine. But to us, it might not just be fine. It might be something else. There's something attached to that vegetable. And that's why we go as far as your farms to go and see where it's coming from for the purpose of traceability. Because this is very important to the international communities. We go to your farm, we see what is there. At the farm point, it's easier to locate some pests. We need ourselves. We are still open. We are open to investments. Come and help us in gathering these farmers. We can't do this alone. The Export Promotion Council talked about, working with the NAQS to farms to go and help, managing pests. Because when we have these aggregations, what we do is we look at the pests that are predominant in that locality. We help you look for the best management practice to put those pests under check, so that you grow your products with less stress and then minimal pest infestation. If there is need for treatment along the chain, it helps you the best, up to the extent of the volume that is required by the countries of export. The slide before, please. I just made a quick list of some of the things that have been exported through the air here. The cargo airports, fried green vegetables, name all the vegetables, live fish, live snails, frozen snails, general edibles, fresh fruits, fish bladder, dry fish, prawns, shrimps, cola nuts, and lots. Now these are more of the exports from the seaports, because these are bulkier exports. The sesame seed, fermented cocoa beans, ginger, cashew nuts. We have the bulk of these ones at the seaports, but they are agro exports.
Subject matter expert that you are. Thank you, Dr. Obiano.
Now, it's not about being, you are good in your practice today. There's a chance tomorrow you miss a step. So, if you ask those laboratory people, they will tell you that those labs need to be revalidated and recertified on a regular basis. So if your farm is certified today, it's not a one-time and forever thing. There is need for constant recheck, and that is part of what we do. We are Nigerians and we understand the peculiarities of Nigeria. I not understand why the boss was doing what he was doing, and they want to do what they feel like doing. There's Madam Bosu said something the last time we were talking, that anytime she's not around, she doesn't like production being done in her facility. She wants to be around because she wants to be sure. It's something like that. We have this problem of the mind. We want to do it fast. Let it just go. So it's like, you don't, where should wait 1 hour before I do the next step. When I need to go somewhere, let me just do it. It's just 15 minutes away.
Greetings from my director general, Farouk Salim. Our mandate, we establish and maintain laboratory where product are tested. We also organize seminars. We participate in the national and international standardization activities. We offer training service, and we advise governments at all levels in matters relating to standardization and quality assurance. Of course, we are the Secretary of Metrology, Nigeria Metrology Institute. The standard specification for product processes and material. These are just few among our mandates. Next slide, please. How does SON aid in improving quality products? Standardization. We elaborate standards for systems, processes, and products. And this is done in consultation with the stakeholders through our technical committee. We also do product certification through our twin scheme. We have the one for locally manufactured goods, that is MANCAP, Mandatory Conformity Assessment Program, which is applicable to locally manufactured goods, whether it is being assembled, manufactured, packaged, or produced. And we have the one that is applicable to offshore products, that is SONCAP, Standards of Nigeria, Conformity Assessment Program. So these are our two twin certification schemes. So whichever one is applicable, we do that. We also offer testing through our laboratory, test analysis in accordance with international test methods. And of course, capacity building. We offer trainings to stakeholders as well. We have some that are of management system certification, and we have others that centers on the product and processes. We maintain laboratory, I think both here in Abuja and the library, which houses standards, whether national standards, regional standards, and international standards. And we are member bodies of a number of international standardization organizations, just to mention a few. Okay, management system certification services. This applies not only to products, but to systems as well. And that is why you see our mark on not only of manufacturer, even people that are rendering services like banks and other companies that render services. They subscribe to our ISO 9001-2015 management system certification, some on environmental management certification, operational assets, and the like. And also metrology services, that is science of measurement. With our measures, we also carry out that. And of course, capacity building. Next slide, please. We have been talking about produce and agricultural products since, and I will join my other co-speakers who have spoken before me. Preamble agriculture used to be mainstay of Nigeria economy, but we are still going back to it now, and that's why we keep mentioning non-oil sector, non-oil sector. Lately it's on agricultural produce. And main groups, we have food crops and we have export products as well. And agricultural sector in Nigeria categorized under these sectors: animal production, crop production, forestry management, and land resources. Please. What are the challenges associated with agricultural produce? A number of them have been mentioned: poor agricultural practices, inappropriate application farming, which poor handling of crops, poor storage facilities. Before now, lack of accredited laboratory for testing of products. non-compliance to requirements of standards, the lack of necessary certification. You see a prospective exporter trying to dodge regulatory requirements. If you escape here, what about the country of destination? You are not likely to escape that. So these are the challenges associated with agricultural policy. Either the one we are consuming locally or the one that are meant to be exported. Next slide, please. So how do we address the challenges? These are suggestions and solutions that we are likely to offer. Over time, there are two major concerns on agricultural produce. One is concern on food safety, and the other one is the threat of contaminants on the product. So everything we have been saying, produce have been rejected, this and that. They are majorly on this concern for food safety and the threat to contaminants to human health. Another one is good sanitary and phytosanitary standard, PSP. What these organizations, there are the numbers of agreements. And key among these agreements are number one, technical barrier to trade, which is general and applicable to all categories of goods. And the second one is the sanitary and phytosanitary product standards, which is major concern on plants and animal products. So we don't joke with, so there is no way you want to export agricultural produce without taking cognizance of these two SPS majorly. And the knowledge about the use of standard and code of practice. Why I mention code of practice here is that agricultural produce are different from other products in the sense that you cannot take care of one aspect of agricultural produce and neglect the rest. It must go across, and that is why next well, whenever we pick a particular agricultural produce, we make sure it covers the entire of that value chain, from farm to table, including the storage, the transportation, and everything. Because we cannot just say, for instance, let me pick tomato. You cannot write standard of fresh tomato, and you abandon the cultivation of tomato, the handling along the process value chain, the aggregators, even at the market level. So whenever we pick a particular agricultural produce, we ensure that standards and code of practices that covers from the farm to the table, we do that. Then exposure to good manufacturing practices, good agricultural practices, and current best practices, and availability of more accredited laboratories. A lot have been said about I mentioned the question was thrown the other time about global gap. Yes, it's true, we have few of the farms that have been certified to global gap in this country, but they are not certified by the certification body in this country because we are yet to put things together. Even to form the National Technical Committee, which is to comprise about the 60% from the private sector and 40% government sector, is still a problem. And that's why you see few of the farms that are certified to global gap, either from South Africa or another African countries. So we are still battling about assembling ourselves because there is a requirement that the composition must be 60% private and 40% government. Next slide, please. So the opportunities in agricultural produce are banned. A number of them have been mentioned. I have them here too. The reason for rejection of agricultural produce.
Thank you very much. I want to tell my sister whether there is action. The little thing you are saying is because of the conversation. So if we don't talk at all, what do you think would happen? So let's continue to talk. I'm so impressed with you, the Export Council. I have 10,000 trees of pawpaw. And I'm telling you, as an engineer, even farming is more scientific than engineering now. So if you don't talk, they won't hear. the quality of product that have issues overseas is because of lack of knowledge. My people perish. I told my brother who sat next to me from Sun that I was in Washington, D.C. in April, and a friend of mine had given me Nigerian plantain chips, which is very good. When I got to my friend who is a heavy importer of Nigerian food in Washington, he now showed me a new plantain chip that a Nigerian had gone to Canada, set up a factory there, and is importing plantain from South America. Now, how do you think the Nigerian plantain chips will be cheap? It cannot. And the one they are shipping from Canada is about 100 grams. The one from Nigeria is 500. So we also need to make our products competitive. With all the agencies that people go through, he's a heavy exporter, he is NACO. The agencies we have to deal with are so many, and the regulatory fees is equally high. So sometimes we should begin to think of one-stop shop. If you enter Murtala Mohammed Airport now to travel with 2 bags, your people will insist to see you differently. They no longer agree to come to the check-in point, which is the rule. And anytime I've traveled, they did it to me, I will say, don't try this. Then one fine man will say, this no girl, no play with this one, they will drag this, and they will leave me. But I should be able to come in and check in normal. So you need to qualify now. And from as you enter to when you board, there are 13 points to travel. Farm security, quarantine, farm security, again, before immigration, SSS, immigration, then customs. It's too many. So please let us come again tomorrow. Let's come again next year. By the time we do it more, by the time he catches retiring, his son will be exporting without any conference. Thank you very much.
Donald talked about our beans being 3 times what is used to preserve beans, and that's why our beans was injected. And he said he was wondering, since we don't die here and we eat the beans. But I think our DNA, and we will go to the toilet and take an if another person out there goes to the toilet because of food, he's going to go to court. And like the other man said, there cannot be a Nigerian standard. You must follow what the world says that is there at minimum. And I like this conclusion. Effective usage of agrochemicals, farming implements and production equipment, proper handling along value chain, adequate storage facilities and conditions will ensure quality produce, which will in turn boost agricultural commodities. We can set up that difference. If this is what will make me get, if this is what I have, and that's this level you must get to your things into my country, then you must understand that. I also like one part before, can you go to the page before this one? We are required appropriate fumigation of storage facilities with right fumigants at approved level. Non-negotiable. When you do this, we won't fail. Thank you, and good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Mokoma. In addition, we'll get this talk and the narrative going and ongoing. Because our prayer is that one day we will ship our stuffs, not going to any SACO facility, not going to any NACO facility, from your bedroom, with your phone, you just send whatever you want to ship to the cargo facility, one stop, and go back. Every other thing is handled, just like what you see all over the world standard. So, the problem we have is still, we don't have collaborations. You have different desks. You go to the cargo village, you see bomb, police bomb, you see police, you see NAVDAC, you see everybody, on one shipment. And somebody was talking about, yes, you're talking about Canada, right? Even from here, if from here to the UK, it's just 6 hours. But go to the markets, you find out that our products are more expensive than the products, especially plantain or banana or whatever that comes from, Asia and South America. Why? And you see how many hours that takes, to come to that client. So we'll keep the narrative going on. We'll keep this going on and on until we see that effective change. Where we wake up one day, send the driver to the NACO, to that gate, just take it on, and before I know it, I hear that it's in Asia, it's in the US, or it's in Europe. Thank you.
Of multiple agencies. We talked of intermodal transportation, and I found out that virtually each one of those models within the intermodal, they have different ministries. That's what I have had this afternoon again, from NAFDAC to SON to another
Export promotion.
And all of you are just looking at the same issue. And that is why we have the multiple tables, like we have said in the airport. It can never make things work. It cannot make what we are trying to do, it can't make it work, and we'll continue having problems. Is either you are going to get only one agency and you put the other ones under it, but when you have them differently, honestly, we are going to be having problems. I've been in that airport for a long time, and I remember when Homo was the vice president, we talked about we started talking about these multiple agencies. But every time we try to create empire for somebody to be somebody, we need to. In between you and the airport, I have said it this morning to somebody, there is a regulated agency. Between you, wherever you are located, there is a regulated agent, a regulated agent that will collect these goods from that place straight to the airport. Like he said, nothing stops it. But when we are going to have 4 or 5 of you in the warehouse in the airport, there's going to be a problem. There will always be a problem. So that is the area I think we should look into. Unfortunately, each time we have discussions like this, the real regulatory agency, aviation, I don't know whether they are here again. SCA, I'm talking about SCA. SCA, I'm talking about SCA.
That's
please.
SCA is so here.
SCA is aviation regulated agency. I know, not FAN. Because FAN is an operator, like every other one. FAN is an operator, regulated by SCA. And there is a regulated agency for all these cargo.
And SCA gets tax on it, they get money.
That is where, every time I talk, we have almost about 4 regulatory agencies now from cargo.
You are with NUQS, which ministry is that?
The NNQS is under the Federal Ministry of
Agriculture. And in one word, what do they do? In respect to exports now.
We certify agro-export and issue phytosanitary and sanitary certificates for our certified agro-export.
That's the famous SPS, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I can't export anything agricultural without having an
The
SPS.
phytosanitary certificates and the sanitary certificates.
Okay, thank you. Ministry of Agriculture. Okay.
Okay. Same question.
The same question.
Okay, thank you very much. The U.S. Promotion Council is under the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment.
Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment.
And our primary mandate one is to register exporter and give them certificate of registration, and also to promote and facilitate exports. We are not regulatory.
Okay, but can I export in large quantity without getting your certificate?
No, not at all. Every formal export must have NUBC certificate.
So I need another certificate from another ministry. Okay.
Now that is under Ministry of Health.
Ministry of Health, the third ministry.
The parents police. And our purpose is to safeguard their regulation. We test, ensure safety, the wholesomeness of food going or other products or regulated products going into us as a human being. We're not looking at the pest, we're looking at the contents of the food, of the products, of the drug, of the chemical, of the whatever that we take in, that we use in different patterns. So the safety, the awesomeness, the quality.
Do I need your certificate to export?
Yes, certificate of health for selling processed products, certificate of manufacture and free sale, certificate of free sale, COP for drugs.
So I need a test certificate from Ministry of Health. Okay.
Standards Organization of Nigeria. The supervisory ministry is Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment.
Oh, thank God. That's the other one. They are siblings.
Our primary mandate is to elaborate standards for system, process, and product, and to ensure compliance. We don't just elaborate standards and fold our arms. So we ensure compliance with the requirement of that standard. And I need to add too that for any product to get out of the shore of this country, it requires our prototype certification. In fact, custom will not even allow, not even talking about the Aviacargo, borderline, they will not allow such product to leave this place without that prototype certification.
Without backup or the other one?
Yes.
Okay. So, and custom is in which ministry? Finance. And the fund is in which ministry? Aviation. Then you have immigration and internal affairs. Then you have police on its own. Different police and DSS. The long and short of it is that that is how the country is set up. And part of what we are trying to do, we can't change, we can harmonize and create one narrative, which is Nigeria first. So it is a Nigerian product. 10 years ago, my friend, a famous movie producer, she's dead, Amaka Iwe, told me something. She told me that Nigerian music was going to go global thanks to Nollywood. I said, why? He said they were not making music before Nollywood. And it was when we started paying them to make scores for our music that the music industry in Nigeria, because you have to build studios everywhere to make music for movies. That in that proliferation of studios, you produce music producers, songwriters, people who did, and you created the enabling environment for that joint narrative that the Nigerian product will compete, the Nigerian product will win, the Nigerian product will dominate. And you will see that once Nigeria gets it right, that's our spirit. You saw what our girls did. Yeah. So, and that's part of why we need to have this conversation. And I can tell you the best thing you have done. You've educated someone like me, a rank outsider. Now I'm talking and I'm saying things like SPS, GAP, and people are, where did you learn this? Are you now one of the prophets? I learned by listening to you. And there are so many people like me out there who need this information. So please, don't give up, and we are going to get it right. And once we're able to articulate it, we are hoping that we are going to have somebody somewhere at the top who will call everybody together and say, look, let's make this work better for Nigeria. I know you individually, and I know we are doing a lot to make this happen. So thank you today. We'll take a good photograph. And I hope you join us tomorrow. You know why? Don't say I finished my own session. Tomorrow, the airlines and the airports will be here. And the state airport, the 3 most successful state airports in Nigeria will be making a presentation. And these are airports that will need your services for them to move that fresh fish.
As the curtains fall for the first day of the Chinet Aviacargo conference held at the esteemed Lagos Marriott Hotel, Ikeja, Lagos, Nigeria, the esteemed experts in the aviation and cargo industry from West Africa delved into pivotal topics ranging from insurance, cargo, airports, airline, and a whole lot more. Stay tuned as we bring you more tomorrow. For ATNT 360, I am Adishewa.